Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Sahaja. I'm a psychologist, I'm an acupuncturist, and a naturopath. So, today we'll be talking about the importance of sleep, unlocking the power of rest. So, you must be thinking, what is in there to talk about the sleep? What's important about sleep? It is common that we sleep in the night and we wake up in the morning. So, what's it particularly to talk about the sleep? You must be thinking this. But yes, there is a lot more to talk about the sleep because there are many factors to know why do we sleep and what happens during our sleep and why do we sleep in the night only. So, you must be aware that why do we sleep only in the night and why not in the mornings? We sleep in the night because we have a circadian rhythm. Our body follows a circadian rhythm that are the cycles, a 24-hour cycle uh, that connects to the internal clock. So our body has its own internal clock. So let us start the importance of sleep. So we spend more than one third of life in sleeping. Why is it important? Sleeping is important because our it gives rest to our body and mind. So as important as the nutrition and physical exercise, sleep is also important. So it enables many brain functions. Lack of sleep affects our concentration levels and negatively because when we don't have enough sleep in the night, so that affect ultimately affects our mood the next day when we wake up throughout the day, we'll be irritated. We have all the negative emotions because when the brain is not given enough time to repair, and all the waste, the toxins gets removed in the night when we sleep. So if we do not give the body to get its repair done in the night by sleeping, by resting our body, so ultimately the next day we'll have a lot of disturbances, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So sleep affects almost every type of our tissue in the body, and it helps us form new memories. It erases the old memories. The throughout the day we keep working, running here and there, doing a lot of chores and everything. And when we go to the bed, the entire sleep that we have, sound sleep that we have in the night, it erases all the unnecessary memories. So it is a kind of a toxin. The body releases all the toxins. It flushes out everything, and we wake up fresh the next morning. So it is good mentally and physically. Sleeping helps us mentally and physically. It gives us a balanced lifestyle for us. And what are the four major components of sleep? A good night's sleep requires four elements or pillars. These are the main pillars, and those are depth, duration, continuity, and regularity. Depth. How deeply are we involved in the sleep? How deep sleep are we catching up? And duration. How long are we sleeping? Are we sleeping for 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours? So the duration is also important. And the continuity. It is to that we need to see we don't have any interruption while sleeping. Only then we can catch a good sleep. Of course, we can wake up in between for nature calls. It is obvious. But again, we should be able to sleep properly. And the regularity. How regular are we in maintaining the timing? Like say, people go to bed today at 9 o'clock, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and sometimes they sleep continuously, and sometimes due to their work pressure and lack of other activities, they sleep. The sleep becomes irregular. Sometimes they have good sleep, sometimes they do not have good sleep. So these four things plays a vital role in our life. So depth, how deeply are we sleeping, how undisturbed it is for us, and duration, how long are we sleeping, and the continuation, are we sleeping regularly? I mean, the regular time is maintained or not? Do we have any interruptions in sleep? So all these are very important. And sleep deficiency. What is sleep deficiency? Sleeping is a basic human need like eating, drinking, and breathing. We also sleep. That is also part of our life. And according to CDC, 1 in 3 adults in United States and everywhere, I mean throughout the country, it is reported that there are many people who are not sleeping properly every day, and 40% of the adults report falling asleep during the day without meaning to at least once a month. So people say that I didn't have enough sleep, good sleep last day, and last the entire last week I did not had enough sleep. So many people keep saying this, and we listen many people saying this. So but sleep deficiency can lead to physical, mental, health problems, and injuries. People, if you do not sleep properly in the night, people who will have to drive long to their office, go on vacation, and when you don't have enough sleep and the body is not rested, the mind is not rested well, so there is a chance wherein the accidents may have occur. So and also we cannot protect well in our regular chores. Students cannot perform well in their academics, and people who are working, they do not be productive. So it all happens, and people who do not sleep, in longer run, that will badly affect their health, and also it may lead to death. So I have conducted a survey. So I have in that Sunday I have got few responses. Let us see few interesting responses here. So there was a question like, do you feel exhausted in the mornings when you do not have enough sleep in the night? I got a response from people. 44.9% of the people have responded that yes, they do feel exhausted in the mornings if they do not have enough sleep in the night. And due to poor sleep, what affects you highest? This was the question. So 50.4% of the people have responded that energy. They have lack of energy the next day morning, because if they don't sleep properly in the night, it is obvious that they will feel irritated the next day. Mood swings, lack of energy, and they feel sleepy throughout the day. And another question, I've asked them to state the following activities, what usually they do before going to sleep. So the responses which I got, 72.4% of the responses said that they watch social media. So it is a bad idea to have a screen time before you go to bed. It is always better to keep yourself off from any screen and gadgets, using mobiles or watching TV, using your iPads, everything. It is always good to keep yourself away from screen at least 2 hours before you go to bed, so that you don't get disturbed with other avocations. And how often do you exercise in a week? This was also asked. So I got a response from 37. I mean, 37% of people have responded that they don't exercise at all. So our body needs the tiredness in us. So when we get tired, when we do enough physical activity, only then we feel asleep. Many people are there who have sedentary lifestyle, that they don't work out in much, maybe not even light exercises. So sedentary lifestyle, they sit in their office and work for longer duration, and they don't take any breaks in between. They don't take a casual walk, and no exercise. Due to lack of physical activity, sleep definitely gets disturbed. So it is that as we work, our brain get tired. At the same time, our body also should get tired. We need to drain out some energy. Only then we can have a sound sleep. So it is mandatory to have a physical activity if you want to have a good sleep. So what is sleep deprivation? Sleep deprivation is a condition that occurs if you don't get enough sleep. What happens when we don't sleep enough? So you sleep at the wrong time of the day, and you don't get enough sleep in the nights, so you don't sleep well at all. So our body gets disturbed, not only mind but also body gets disturbed. So it prevents you from getting enough sleep and causes poor quality of sleep. When if you keep on continuing the same pattern, that you don't sleep in the night, you drag it until late night. Today you have a sound sleep, tomorrow you will not sleep properly, and the other day, then the next day you sleep in the late night, or you work until late morning and you catch up a sleep in the afternoon, or maybe when you get time in the morning. So that is not correct. Many people must be thinking that we can have sleep leisurely maybe tomorrow. This, it is not given any, I mean, sleep is not given any importance, because people think that we can sleep leisurely. This is highest priority, that I need to do this task. Once I finish this, maybe I'll sleep late night, or I work until I stretch myself until early morning. Once I finish work, I'll catch up a sleep at 6 a.m. and I sleep until afternoon. So this is not correct. So this, in longer duration, this will definitely affect our health. And what are the consequences? What happens? So if we disturb our sleep, we cannot function well, and the emotional connectivity, we lose our emotions. I mean, we have an imbalance in our emotions, we have mood swings. And children who do not sleep well on time, proper sleep, they have lack of concentration in their education, and there is a chance of injury, needles, pains, and accidents happens. Yes, people who do not sleep well, accident may happen, a tragic and there are incidents where mistakes happened, these tragic incidents took place. and many other factors like new reactor meltdowns, grounding of launches, plane crashes. All this happen due to the sleep deprivation and improper sleep. So, what are the other consequences? Problems thinking, problems with thinking and memory. We cannot function well. We cannot. We have poor memory skills, and the cognitive performance is disturbed, and the metabolism takes for a toll. Hormonal imbalance we see in women, and that definitely gives the negative impact on mental health as well. So, and we have trouble recollecting things. We have the problems with the memory. So the quality lack of sleep disturbs not only mentally but also physically. We see mental health issues and also physical health issues if people are not slept properly. The next day they can't have good breakfast and they have a problem with their digestion. That thereby it goes a problem with gastritis. They may have ulcers. All this. We eat properly only when we sleep, and we sleep properly only when we do some physical activity, and we need to drain our energy. Not most of the people think that, but giving relaxation to brain is enough. No, that is not enough. So you need to get tired not only mentally but also physically. So sleep and mental health, how is this connected? There's a close relationship between sleep and mental health. So people who have poor sleep will have negative impact on their mental health. They keep worrying, they have anxiety and issues, mood disorders, depression. So, and people with insomnia will have these psychiatric disorders, and mental health problems, so including depression and anxiety. So quality of sleep, if we sleep well, what happens? Our cognitive function and memory, everything will be in place. So all this will develop. We'll have good emotional well-being, we'll have good moods, we can work in a better way, and our immune system will be good, our physical health will be good. So all this happens. And understanding, let us understand the sleep. So sleep removes, as it said, sleep removes toxins in our brain. While we are awake, we do lot of activity, physical activity and mental activity, so it all gets strained. I mean, our body and mind gets strained. So when we sleep, all these toxins are removed. This will flush out and will be fresh the next morning. And it affects, as I said, every tissue and system in the body. So lack of sleep can increase what? Diabetes. People get diabetes and hormonal imbalance and metabolic syndromes, and this hypertension, BP, and atherosclerosis. All this happens. So people will have arrhythmia issues. All this will take place. So lack of proper sleep, having lack of proper sleep will definitely take a toll of our mental health and also physical health. So now let us understand more. The stages. There are four stages in sleep. So stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. What happens in stage 1? When we sleep, the first stage, our heartbeat slows down, our breathing slows down, and our muscles begin to relax. In stage 2, brain waves slows down. Slowly, we keep closing our eyes. The eye movements will stop, and the body temperature will go down. And in stage 3, heartbeat and breathing, it will be there at lowest. And eye movements, there will be no eye movements, no eye blinking, nothing. So we'll be fully relaxed. Our muscles, our body will be fully relaxed. And then the fourth stage is that REM, we call it as REM, rapid eye movement. So here the brain activity looks like when we are awake, we have faster breathing and heartbeats. So limbs temporarily gets paralyzed and we get into dreams. So when we slowly fall into sleep, we'll get different sorts of dreams. Our body will be paralyzed. I mean, we don't move, but still we keep getting dreams. All these things will begin. So these four stages, we need to see that these four stages are maintained when we sleep. So getting the most out of sleep cycles, an amount of time spent in each four stages is definitely important. We see that we are falling into the four stages properly. So chronic lack of deep sleep and REM sleep affects what? Cognition. So we cannot think properly, and we get mood. We'll have mood disorders. Our loss of memory will happen. We cannot control our emotions. Our physical health is disturbed. Mental health is disturbed. So waking up in the first and second stages easily thwarts the ability to make it clear to stages. So apart from the environment, I mean, we should keep ourselves, in a good environment when we sleep. So it is to see that there are no environmental disturbances, and also people will be severely suffering with this insomnia and sleep apnea. So it is to understand that what is insomnia and what is sleep apnea. So we need to observe when we have poor sleep patterns. So this can contribute to insufficient amount of sleep in the four sleep stages. So when these sleep stages are not maintained, so we may fall into this category, having a sleep apnea issue and insomnia and all. So sleep wake homeostasis, what is this? It tracks the needs of sleep, reminds the body to sleep after a certain time, and regulates the sleep intensity. So longer we are awake, the longer we need sleep. Of course, we some few people will stretch for longer hours and they feel very tired, and they feel like taking enough time to cover up their sleep and have a sound sleep. So and also people who do not fall asleep, they must be having different other affecting issues like medical certain medical conditions, maybe due to some few medicine and stimulants that they take in the night, like coffee, tea, before going to sleep. It is always better and good to avoid coffees, teas before you go to bed. And people who are going through a lot of stress, even they cannot have proper sleep. And the environmental factors, it is to see that we need to have a sound sleep, so we don't get affected with the environmental factors. We should ensure that there is no disturbance. And the food and liquid intake, if people have e- more food, if they take more food before going to bed, it will be, but they will have difficulty sleeping, catching up a good sleep. So it is always good to finish your dinner 3 hours before you go to bed. Otherwise, you will have problem, difficulty sleeping. And any sorts of liquid intake. If you take more liquids just before you go to bed, you will have to wake up in between for the restroom and all. So it is always better to avoid eating and having any sorts of drinks just before you go to sleep. Finish up everything 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep, and that will give you a good sleep. And light exposure. A few people they switch on the lights and sleep. So when we switch on the light, we don't get proper sleep. So it is always to good to keep our room dark. Have a cool environment, or which suits our body temperature. Different when people will have different sleeping setups, right? Some people prefers to sleep on the floor. Some people prefer to sleep on the proper bedding, and few people can sleep even if there is any sound. But most of the people sleep if they do not have any environmental disturbances, like switching off the light and switching off the music and everything. Nothing, keep the room calm, dark, and everything. Then you can catch up a good sleep. And how much sleep do we need? So sleep needs change with age. As let us see the chart. See here, child, teen, adult, old people. So initially, babies sleep. They need 6 to 18 hours of sleep a day, and school children and teens, they need about 9 to 9.5 hours of sleep every night. And adults requires minimum 6 hours. So anywhere in between 6 to 9 hours of sleep is good for the adults. And for older adults, 60 plus, they tend to sleep for shorter periods at night, of course. But it is good to have minimum 4 to 5 hours of sleep, even for older people also. So what happens with our sleep? So medications that interfere our sleep, deep sleep. Sometimes people who take medication, so they might not catch a good sleep, and this nocturia issue. And there is a myth. People think that a little sleep is enough to them. I can sleep only for 2 hours, still I can function well. So that is not true. That is definitely a myth. People who do not sleep properly, that will that may not give an immediate effect, but in long run they will have all sorts of issues, like mentally, physically, everything gets disturbed. So definitely it is a myth. Sleeping 2 hours or 3 hours is enough for the body and mind. No, that is not true. That is not enough. So sleep hygiene. What is a sleep hygiene? So the consistency to be maintained, a temperature. We sleep a minimum 5 to 6 hours, and the temperature, we need to check the temperature. A few people like to switch on their AC and have a cool environment, and few people, they're okay with the fan. So it is up to an individual. However they wish to have, however they think they can catch a good sleep. So we need to maintain the temperature, room temperature. And environment, so ensure that there is no sound, not much sound, light. A few people have this habit of switching on the music or plugging in the earphones, and have a music. But it is not recommended. It is always good to have a sound sleep, not disturbing yourself listening to any sort of music. But what you can do, you can just meditate for 2 minutes, close your eyes and meditate for 2 minutes, and then you can go to bed. So it is always better to sleep in a dark environment. Always ensure that you switch off the lights and there is no sound. And comfort with the bedding. Few people are comfortable to sleep on the floor, and few people are gives more. Few people gives importance to their bed, a soft bed, comfort, sheets and all. And duration. So we need to maintain the duration. It is good to sleep for about 5 to 6 hours, or maybe 7 hours. That is fine. And the quality of the sleep is definitely important. So if you sleep for more than 8 hours, 9 hours, 6 hours, it doesn't matter. But the quality matters. How quality it is, how quality sleep that we had gives us the fresh feeling. And what are the tips to catch up a good night's sleep? What do we do? So regularity is important. Slow sleep up and wake up same day. Sorry, same time every day, even on weekends. It doesn't matter. So 7 days a week, it is better to have a regular pattern that you go to bed at 9 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. and you go to bed at 10 p.m. and wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. So it is up to you. But the regularity has to be maintained, and it is always better to be productive in the mornings and have a sound sleep in the night. Try to sleep early. Early in the sense, do not stretch yourself beyond 11 p.m. So it is better to sleep any time in between 9:30 to 10 or 9:30 to 11 is always a good time. And you wake up at 5 a.m. the next day, 6 a.m. The next day, so that you have good sunlight also. So sunlight is also mandatory for us to maintain the vitamin D levels in our body. We feel fresh in the morning sunlight. So these are all definitely important. And avoid any sort of electronic devices. It is always good to avoid watching phone or watching TV. So before 2 hours before going to bed, you please avoid this. And always prefer sleeping in a quiet and dark place, preferably cool place. Otherwise, if you are comfortable with the body temperature, or a regular room temperature, even that is fine. So get regular exercise, definitely, but not before going to bed. So few people, they have a habit of having late night dinners and go for a walk right before they go to bed. So it is not recommended to sleep before. Sorry, not recommended to walk or exercise 2 hours before going to bed. You can exercise maybe at 6 p.m. and go to bed at 10 p.m. That is okay. But if you want to go to bed at 10 p.m. and if you are exercising at 9 a.m. or 8:30, that is not really good. That is not recommended. You can take a light walk, say for about 10 minutes, a casual walk, but after your dinner. After your dinner and before going to bed, there should be a gap of 2 hours minimum, so that you will have a sound sleep and the food that you take will get digested and everything will be good. And check your medications. If the medication, people who take some sort of medication that will disturb their sleep, so you please check with your doctor whether the medication that you, the medicine that is added newly to your routine, is that disturbing your sleep. So you can have a check on it. And try to avoid naps in between. So there are people who take quick naps in the morning, in the afternoon. If it is a quick nap for about 10 to 15 minutes, it is okay. It's a kind of relaxation. But if you take longer duration, say after lunch, you sleep for about 2 hours. So that is not recommended. Try not to take longer naps. Instead, you can take, if needed, you can take quick nap. But try to avoid naps or sleeping in the afternoon or in the morning time. And avoid any kind of the stimulants like coffee and alcohol. Try not to use all this. Don't use nicotine on before you go to bed, right before you go to bed. And do not put up with pain. If you have any sort of pain also, it will be difficult for you to have a good sleep. So uh, maybe that will also cause a disturbance in your sleep. And don't take any strain, no, not much physical strain right before you go to bed. And avoid large meals. If you eat your meal full, if you have stomach full of food, that will be difficult for you to go to bed. So you cannot have a sound sleep because your stomach gets disturbed, upset, bloating, indigestion, heavy stomach. So that will definitely disturb your sleep. So you can finish your meal late night, I mean night meal, 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, and by the time you go to bed, the food gets digested. And there are people who have midnight cravings. They stay up late night and they eat food in the late night, and the food doesn't get digested. The next morning, they don't feel like having their breakfast because the stomach is not empty, and they have constipation issues, this gastritis, and everything. So try not to eat anything right before you go to bed. So sleep for the family. So it is mandatory to maintain the timing. If the family maintains a good timing, the entire family can have a good night's sleep. If the parents are, we see many parents, they tend to stay up late night. So watching them, even children imitate parents, right? So they see their parents working or watching TV. Even children will not go to bed. They imitate their parents ultimately. So ensure that parents sleep on time, and they also put children to the bed on time, and consequently the family locks a proper sleep schedule. Ultimately the children will also not develop good sleeping habits. And adequate sleep affects children's memory, behavior, and emotional stability. So they have this tantrums and the hyperactivity, and they'll be stubborn. All this will affect the children if they do not have proper sleep. And it is crucial to instill good sleeping habits from childhood. It is definitely parents has to see that they give these good habits to the children. If they develop good habits right from their childhood, that will definitely help children, and they make it as a habit that they go to bed every day, before 9 p.m. They finish up their dinner early. Children especially, they finish up their dinner by 7 o'clock, 7:30, and they go to bed before 9 o'clock. They can hit bed by 8 o'clock or by 9 o'clock. That will be good, so that they have sound sleep. The very next morning they wake up fresh. So it is mandatory for parents to teach good sleeping habits to children right from their childhood. So even if you go on vacations or anywhere out of the city or out of your home, ensure that the children's sleep pattern does not get disturbed. So no matter where they go, it is good to maintain the timings. If you are able to maintain the sleeping pattern properly, that will help the child to grow, have a good healthy lifestyle. So teach the children to have this concept of early to bed, early to rise concept. And why can't I sleep through the night? So many people say that I don't fall asleep. I can't sleep from so many days. I'm not sleeping. It is all because of their lifestyle. If we make changes in our lifestyle, so only then we can catch up good sleep. If we don't, if the sleep is not maintained regularly, if the consistency is not maintained, if the pattern is not followed, ultimately they get disturbed, and thereby they will have stress, this traumatic events, and difficult to fall asleep. If you maintain the regularity, the sleep pattern will fall in place. If you do not do that, if there is any change in the schedule, for a week you sleep properly, for another this week you sleep properly, next week you tend to stay late night. So all this, it all gets disturbed. So, and also there are few medications that disturb your sleep, like antidepressants will not let you sleep properly, and blood pressure drugs. These all may disrupt your sleep, so you will have to have a close check on all these factors. And dreaming and sleeping tracking. So we dream. What happens when we sleep? We dream. So we spend about 2 hours each night dreaming, but we do not remember what all we dreamed the next morning. And dreaming will help you process your emotions. Yes. So during our sleep, we get many thoughts, different dreams. Especially people who are with high anxiety and distress level, they will have this frightening dreams. So dreams can be experienced in all stages of REM. As I told you that there are 4 stages in REM. So we experience these dreams in our sleep. So some people dream in color, while others only recall dreams in monochrome. So it all differs, from a person to person. Some people will have no dreams; they will have sound sleep. Some people have dreams, but yet they do not remember. Some people, they remember their dreams. So it is like that. So tracking sleep through smart technology. So now that we have the smart technology, we have the different gadgets, like we can wear a fitness tracker, a watch wherein it tracks our heart rate, our sleep, the duration of our sleep, and how is it maintained, how is our heart maintained, what is the rate of our heart when we sleep. So we can track our sleep through these devices. We can take these help of these devices to track our sleep. How good is our sleep, how soon are we falling asleep. So there are many apps nowadays, there are many apps, and we have these fitness trackers which tracks the sleep. So there are people who say that I slept at 9 o'clock last night and I woke up at 6 o'clock. Still, I don't feel I had enough sleep. And some people say that I had a sound sleep, I had a good sleep. I slept from 9 p.m. to morning 10 a.m. I'm sorry, morning 5 a.m. So they feel they will be in an assumption that they had enough sleep, but maybe that is not true. If you can track your sleep, only then you would know how soon did you fall asleep, and have you really slept for about 5 6 hours without any interruption, and you can know about the quality of the sleep. So there are many new gadgets that have come in the market to track your sleep, so that you can do that. And sleep duration fallacy, as I told, that people think that they are having enough sleep, so data speaks. So if you can track your sleep using these gadgets, having an application on your mobile or using a smartwatch, so that will tell you how many hours did you sleep, when did you fall asleep, you had good sound sleep or not. So you can track your these trackers, and you can change your pattern. So with the result speaks, right? The data speaks. So you can check your data and you can make the changes accordingly. So many people, there are many individuals who think that no, we can cover up our sleep next morning. Let me work. This task is important for me, so let me drag myself the whole night. So staying up late night, working during the night. So all this brings a different. That's a flawed notion. So that is not true. They cannot catch up good sleep the next morning. So it is to that they need to have sound sleep in the morning, in the evening. So see, nights are for us to sleep, and morning we need to be productive. So we do all the chores, all our tasks. We can finish up our everyday activities in the mornings only. So we can be more productive in the mornings when we have sound sleep in the nights. So nighttime is intended for rest, and working during daylight hours is far more productive. And ignoring the symptoms. So few people, they literally ignore the symptoms. All the many people feel exhausted. They feel exhausted in the mornings, irrespective of the duration of the sleep. They sleep for longer hours in the evenings or in the nights, but yet they don't feel comfortable, and they feel that they did not have enough sleep, although they have maintained the longer duration sleeping in the night. But they will ignore the symptoms. But it is important to check those symptoms. We are not supposed to ignore those symptoms. So it is better to get the timely help. It might be sleep apnea. So what is sleep apnea? Symptoms of sleep apnea. So when you observe these symptoms, please do not delay. You can meet the doctor and get your sleep test done, and observe all these patterns. So sleep apnea can be presented with one or more symptoms, like snoring. We see many people snoring, loud snoring. They'll have loud snoring in the nights, and they miss their breaths during sleep, and they feel tired waking up the next day, even though they had enough sleep, the duration was good, but still they don't feel fresh in the mornings. So they are awakening in the middle of the night with a dry mouth, and they'll have morning headaches and difficulty staying asleep, and excessive daytime sleepiness. Although they sleep for longer duration in the night, still they feel like sleeping in the morning timing. And memory issues, they may lose their memory. They may not recollect things well like earlier. So they feel like sleeping in the daytime, even though they had enough sleep in the night, but still they prefer to sleep in the morning, sorry, in the afternoons. And they cannot pay attention while they're awake. They cannot focus on things. They don't remember. Slowly, they tend to forget things. So they feel irritated. They have mood swings. All this happens. So when you observe these symptoms, it may be sleep apnea. So please do get checked. So if you ignore these symptoms, what happens? You will develop hypertension, this arrhythmia, and heart damages, and you may also lose your breath if you ignore these symptoms in the midnight sleep. If you are missing those breaths, and these symptoms are ignored, so sudden cardiac arrest may happen, and all these things will take place. So sleep studies, for this what can you do? You can get your sleep study done. So the healthcare provider may recommend the polysomnograph. The test is to diagnose a sleep disorder. They will check how is your sleep pattern. So sleep test will be recorded, and they will observe the recordings of your breath, your oxygen levels, and the eye movements, heart rate. Everything will be observed. So after the sleep study, they will let you know if you have sleep apnea. For that, you will have to use a device, CPAP machine and BiPAP machine. There are machines that we get in the market. People with sleep apnea, please do not ignore any sort of symptoms. You can get your sleep test done and get this checked. So, what do we do for a good night's sleep? So, we can do our self treatment. As per the traditional medicine, we can follow a few tips. And we have panchabhutas in our body. You must be aware, like we have the five elements in our body: fire, earth, metal, water, wood. All these panchabhutas that we have in our body. So we can do our self treatment for good night's sleep instead of taking this, sleeping pills. Many people, they have a habit of taking pills for the sleep. Instead, what you can do, you can follow the self treatment methods, like there are pranayama. You can do pranayama, you can do mudras. So this will really help before going to bed. You can practice meditation for about 2 to 5 minutes. Close your eyes and keep yourself calm, and you can take simple lighter breaths. You can practice these breathing techniques. And there is a mudra called Yoga Nidra and Brahmari Pranayama, Anulom Vilom Pranayama, Nadi Sodhana. So, Yoga Nidra is something that, you sleep and you focus on every organ, and you release the organs, release the muscles. You can free up the movements. All this you can practice. You can find it on YouTube. What is Yoga Nidra and all. And Brahmari Pranayama you can do. That will give a good relaxation to the mind, so that you have a sound sleep. And this Anulom Vilom Pranayama, like I said, the light breathing, deep breath, release, breathe, release. So all these Anulom Vilom Pranayama you can practice. And Jnana Mudra. Mudras, even mudras are good. So this is Jnana Mudra. If you put this mudra and you follow this posture, just maintain this mudra for about 5 to 10 minutes every day. If you can practice this Jnana Mudra 2 hours or 1 hour before going to bed, so that will give you a sound sleep. And there is another mudra called Dhyana Mudra. So you need to maintain this posture. So Dhyana Mudra, if you do this, you can just sit straightly. I mean, ensure that you sit straight, your spine is straight, and have this posture. This mudra you can apply and maintain the same mudra for about 5 to 10 minutes. Close your eyes and you do this. And there is another mudra called Hakini Mudra. So fingers, if you can see the screen, here it is. This is Hakini Mudra. You can have this posture. Put this mudra for about 5 to 10 minutes again, anytime in the day. So this can be done anytime in the day or before going to bed. Even that works before going to bed. And there are acupressure points. So to catch a good night's sleep, you can try on these pressure points. You can do it self. So in between these two fingers, little finger and ring finger, follow this line. If you can see me, they follow this line. So this is the pressure point. Here, this particular pressure point, you can pressurize. You can pressurize like this slowly for about 2 to 5 minutes. You can do this. You can apply the good amount of pressure and a clockwise direction. Clockwise direction. If you do this, press on the point, pressurize the point for about 1 to 2 minutes or maybe 3 minutes. It is okay. Slowly, you can pressurize this point. You can apply the good amount of pressure on this point. Even this will give you sound sleep. This will give a good sleep. So there is another point here, uh, hairline. Once you finish the hairline, backside above the neck, so there are these two particular points. You can pressurize these two particular points. If you can look at the screen. So when the hairline is finished here, above the neck area, here you can pressurize the point. The same point can be pressurized for about 1 to 2 minutes before you go to bed. And there is another point called third eye. So right here, in between your eyebrows, in between the eyebrows, There is a gap here. This, press the point, apply the pressure, clockwise direction, just do this movement. You can apply the pressure, you can do the clockwise direction, close your eyes and do the clockwise direction. You can try all these methods. And you can have a hot tub bath, a warm water bath. Just if you have a hot tub at your home in the bathrooms, you can just have a tub bath for about, relax yourself for about 5 to 10 minutes in the tub, and you will have a good sleep with this. You can try this, and you can take this lavender facial steam before going to bed. Maybe half an hour or 45 minutes before you go to bed, you can have a facial steam having 1 to 2 drops of lavender oil. And you can try on peppermint tree also, peppermint tea. Say after 1 hour, post 1 hour of your night meal. So after having dinner, maybe you can give a gap of 1 hour or 1.5 hour, and then you can have this peppermint tea. So you can, what you can do, you just take a bowl of plain water and add pepper leaves into that water, boil it, and once the water is boiled, let it get to the room temperature. Don't drink it hot. Let it get it to the room temperature. You can strain the drink and you can have it. Don't add anything to it. Just plain water with mint leaves. Do not add honey or lemon to it. You can just have it plain. So you can try all these methods.